Can you guys hear me now? Yes. Yay. Okay, guys. Awesome. I had the receiver plugged into the wrong port. I'm sorry. Well, let me get back to where we started. Linda, hello, my Michigan buddy. And Jan made it. Jean is here all the way from Mount Vernon, Washington, and Lee from a very frigid Indiana. Hi, Carolyn from South Carolina, and Charlene from Colorado. Monica is here from Durand, Illinois. Welcome back, Monica. I notice we've been seeing you quite regularly. What a joy it is to have you here. Lois is here from Delaware and Joyce from Mesa. And then I've got all kinds of, hi, Linda from New York. How are you, my friend? Okay, so then we're not hearing anything. And now we have it figured out. And oh, sound yet? Sound yet? Sound yet? Yay, yes, we have. The camera is as cold as it is here in Southeast Nebraska. Yeah, it is cold. It is cold everywhere. Julie, hi, nice to see you. Kelly made it from Arizona. And Janice, my friend from Pembine, I have a full bobbin. Teresa, you're absolutely right. Isn't that the truth? Oops, things happen and things do happen. And you guys are always so generous with me. Okay, I really appreciate it. Susan said, "Yay, we have sound and picture." Jan asked, "Is it operator error?" Jan, yes, it is operator error. And my friend Nancy, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you today. I have so much to tell you. And Alice is here also. So good to see you all. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I looked at today's design for our edge to edge. And this is it. Okay. Now, I think we have figured out this design ad nauseum. Okay. We really have been working hard on this one basically almost since the beginning. So, what I decided to do is I have decided I'm going to shake things up just a little bit tonight. Okay. Hi, Judy from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. Judy, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, if I ever shared this with you, but we have a bar in town called Greenleaf's. Very popular place. I spent a few evenings there when I was younger. Anyway, what I did and what you're going to be seeing now is I made a quilt and I wasn't happy. So what I did was I cut the quilt up and we're going to use the pieces from this quilt that I cut up as samples for what we do. Hey, Kay from Crofton, nice to see you. So this is what you're going to see is bits and pieces of this quilt. And yes, it's a Quilt Works quilt. It was called the Blue Lagoon. There we go. So tonight, what I want to focus on is using our edge to edge connectors and our starter sampler set. So tonight we're going to look at how we can effectively connect designs as we go along. Some are going to be close together, some a little further apart, some are going to be fancier. Well, I love this one. And some are going to be a little more plain, just like this circle that I mangled here. And I did mangle it. Okay. So you can see, yeah, I have those problems too. So let's take a look at the first one I want to look at. I want to join these two designs. Oh, Linda's here. Linda, nice to, oh, Lorraine, I'm sorry, I can't see very well. Lorraine is here um from Australia, and Linda's here from El Paso, a warm 74 degrees. Linda, I think you're the only one who's warm tonight. Okay, so now to get from one of these to the other, we could simply, when we get to this point and come around, we could go ahead and travel on our circle and go like this and combine these two, right? I'll make sure you can see this. Yep, you can see it. Good. Or we could do things that are a little more interesting. We could take this beautiful little, it kind of reminds me of an S curve, and come from one onto the other. So what I mean by that is maybe come out here and come around this S curve, and then maybe even go ahead and flip it over and come back in. So who's game to try that? I think I'm ready. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, Mary is here from South Australia, and it is summertime there. Everybody's complaining about the cold up here, Mary, I gotta tell you. Okay. Okay, Sarah Selzinko. Sarah is my daughter, for those of you who don't know, and they have a roaring fire because it's below zero there. I think it might be below zero here too. I'm not really sure. Um, it feels like it's -18 right now. So, yeah, it's cold. Rita, good morning from Northern Victoria, Australia. So good to have you. Just come in always. We're happy to see you. So, what I'm going to do, you'll notice too, I have a different machine tonight. Um, I have been doing some work and I needed a zigzag on it. So, I had to get my big machine out. All right. Where am I going here? I am going to start here and I'm going to end up here. Or should I end up here so that I can come back out here? Let's go ahead and come all the way out over here. And what that's going to do is two things. It's going to kind of tie everything together and put some stitching in this space. So let's go ahead and get our foot down here. I want to make sure, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I was hoping you guys were going to get a better, clearer view of this. All right, I'm going to put that down. Okay, which way am I going, guys? Okay, I think I'm going up here. Yeah, okay. It takes me a few tries to figure out exactly where I'm going with this machine, simply because I don't use it that often. I got my little 301 and I love that machine. And I use it for just about everything. Okay, so what we want to do here, I'm going to lift that up a little bit. Because we want to decide, we want to come out here, and then what I want to do is turn it around and come back down. So maybe what I should do is use this number C, letter C, not number C, letter C. And we're going to head over there with that. I'm going to go ahead and take my first stitch in place as I try to keep everything steady here. And here we go. Off we're gonna go. Now, I want to come over here, and this template is not going to fit, right? So I've got some options. What I can do is I can go ahead and move this template over or even flip it to another side and come back this way. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to keep going in that direction. So here we go. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to twist it a little bit so it comes out beyond here. Or actually, it's just going to skim there. And there I have attached those two with them not perfect, but it gives you the idea of what we're going for here. So now I want to come in and I'm going to travel down here and travel up here, and then I'm just going to make a real short. I'm going to make a real short connector on this one. And I am just traveling. Remember when you travel, this is a skill that is extremely valuable, guys. It really is. It's a very valuable skill. Okay, now I want to come in and I want to end up right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my spacing gauge. I'm going to pull it out and here we go. And we're going to end up right between those two rotations. Perfect. And you'll see how nice and rounded that is. I could have done a better job rounding this off. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm not going to try and make excuses either. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break thread here. Do you have to? No, you don't. You can continue to travel if you want. You can even come in and come back out over here. And I think I'll do that just so you can see exactly what it is I mean by coming in and coming back out. I'm going to travel down to that center point. Remember, when you're traveling, what is best is to just kind of keep slow and steady. Okay, there we go. I've made it all the way to the inside. Now, if you look on here, it's really almost hard to tell that there's another line of stitching there, isn't it? So here is where I put that extra line of stitching right in here, and it really doesn't show up that much. Let's take a look at where we're at here. Um, Okay, Marine's here from Kansas. Welcome, Marine. Imelda, hi. And Jan asks, do you have the ruler designs on that quilt before you cut it apart? No. I am putting the ruler designs on now. The only reason, Jan, that I put them on before we started tonight was because the focus of tonight is going to be connecting these motifs together. Okay? Um, Now, Jan asked another question. Do you do random template items, and then go back and use the connector? Okay, it's a two-step process. The way I am showing you tonight, yes, Jan, is a two-step process. Normally, what I would do is I would connect them as I am doing the rotation. So I would do this, and then I would come over here and put my next motif in here. The reason that I went ahead and did them before tonight was because I wanted to spend the time talking about getting from one to the other as opposed to stitching them out. So normally you're going to see me stitch them out, Jan. Definitely. Oh, Jean made it here from a chilly, Erie, PA, and Pam is here from Maine. And Jan says, sorry, my neck work is as cold as it is outside. I get you, Jan. I get you. It is chilly out there. Okay, so where do I want to go next? Well, let's come on over and let's um connect this feather. Now, Nancy, you should recognize the feather because you're the one who put it in there. Okay, so how do we want to do that? We can come here, we can come here. What I want to look at when I go from one motif to the next is what's going to be most fun to look at. Okay, not going to be what's going to get me there fastest or what's going to give me there straightest. It's going to be what's going to give me there the most artistically. Does that make sense? Jean, the feather is gorgeous. Nancy did great on that. Okay, so I'm going to come back out and I'm going to come here and I am going to use this template. And I'm going to use number 8 on this template. Now, what I'm going to do is, there they are, find my stitching line discs and find a pen. We're going to do some drawing before we do some stitching, okay? And it's a good idea to draw these on a piece of paper just so you understand how the template works and what it's going to look like when it's actually stitched out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come out of here. I want to come right here. And I'm going to come up here and around. I want to make sure you can see this. Up and around. Okay, nice. Now it says flip and rotate. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip. I'm going to come here and I'm going to rotate. And how do I want to rotate? Well, that's a really good question. We can rotate in a lot of different ways. Okay, let me see if I rotate it this way, if that's going to be any different. And really, it's not. It's going to pull this back up. So I do want to flip it and rotate it. And then what I'm going to do is take, and we're going to come around here. Whoops. I'm going to, I'm having a hard time doing this, guys. Okay, so here's going to be my circle here. And then we're going to come out and come in this direction, and I'm going to meet up here. Nah, I don't like that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come out like this. Okay, we'll come out in this direction. Now I'm going to flip it and rotate it. I'm here. I'm going to come around this way. There we go. I'm rotating it. And now I'm going to come in this way. How do I like that? Better. But I really want to come in here. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to move myself down. So when I come down, whoops, I'm coming right in there. So I'm coming down, instead of hitting mid-feather, I'm going to come down and hit between those feathers. So we're going to use our spacing gauge a lot here, guys. Okay. Oh, Deanna, hi. It's okay, Deanna. You're not late. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put the stitching line disc down so I don't lose it because I'm really good at losing those. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to travel back up here. There we go. Remember, slow and steady. And we're going to stop between those. Now I'm going to come on up. And we do want our staple tape on both sides of this template because we're going to flip it, we're going to rotate it, and there we go. Now we're going to flip, rotate, and use the spacing gauge, right? There we go. Oops, I got scooted down there a little too far. And here we go. And that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You see what we did here? Look at how nice that looks. All right. Now, normally I would not pull this off at this point. Again, I would probably travel. Well, actually, I would have put a motif in. What I want to do is get rid of all this ink here for you. So we're just going to do that quickly. Oh, I think we're not going to do that all that quickly because I don't have my iron plugged in. There we go. We'll come back and do that in a second. Okay. So now let's talk about using some of our other templates. So, whoa, sorry, guys. Okay. Let's talk about using this one. And get these ones out of the way. There we go. Get my stitching line disc out. This to me is the best way to learn our templates. And that is to play with them. You can use them like I'm doing here on a practice piece, or you can use them on paper. That works as well. So if I want to come from here to here, this is the straightest line. Make sure I'm okay. You can see me. Or from here to here. Doesn't matter. If I do this, let's see what happens. Okay, so if I'm going to come up and around here, okay, then what I can do is flip this template over and continue, right? And then I'm just going to move it down a little bit so that I can get into that spot. And what you're going to see is when I flip that over, it made a really pretty like curve in it. So let's go ahead and stitch that out while we're waiting. Okay. Oh, we got some people coming in. Hi, Evelyn, New Haven, Indiana. And honey, it's okay that you're late. Anne comes in from Lincoln, California. And I am using the edge to edge templates. And that is this template and this template. And I will be showing you some ways that we can connect our motifs with the starter sampler set as well. Okay? Nancy says, what size foot are you using on your Juki? I am using a high shank 1/4 inch westerly foot on here. I think you have the same one, Nancy. Hi, Vanna from Oklahoma. Is that what you were asking, Nancy? What size foot I'm using? It is the high shank. And if you need one, just let me know. All right. A little bit of soda there. Okay. So what we did is we are coming in. I can't remember now which one I used. You guys remember? Mhm. I really cannot. Okay, it was this one. All righty. I get things mixed up. All right. As I said, normally I would not be breaking thread. I would be going and traveling to where I want to get to the next motif and then start it that way. But because of time, I wanted to make sure that I had things ready for you. Okay, so we're going to come in to the end of this template and stop. And what I did, oh, I think I used it in this direction. Yep, that's what I did. I flipped it over. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here. And I am just going to twist that template a little bit. I'm going to hopefully find my spacing gauge because I just had it. Okay. I think one of my dogs took it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Of course, you guys know me. I tend to drop things too. So it's very possible it's on the floor someplace here. So I'm just going to go ahead and check with my spacing gauge. And there we got it. And now I'm going to come in to that area where the two rotations join. And here what you'll see is a very soft, easy curve that joins these two motifs beautifully. All right. Oh, Ina, hi. How are you? Wendy is here too. Wendy is here too. Vienna. Okay, Nancy, how does that work with flannel? Can you show that foot, please? I'm using the foot that came with the Juki machine. Okay, how does it work with flannel? It should work fine, Nancy. It really should. And yes, I will show you this foot. This is my westerly ruler foot. And let's do this. I'm not going to get a chance to get in there very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it off and show it to you. How do you like that? Okay, here we go. I think I'll get it off. This is the foot that I'm using. It is the high shank and it is the westerly ruler foot. And I'm just having all kinds of issues here tonight, guys. I apologize. Okay, there we go. We're back. Okay, so that is the foot. It has the little cutout in the front there. And what that does is it gives us a view to where our needle is coming. Our needle comes right in the center of this foot, right there in the center. So what happens when our needle hits the center of this foot is every place around it where the template is going to touch or glide like this is exactly a quarter of an inch beyond the needle. And that's what keeps us nice and even and going around in the same size. All right, here we go. We'll go ahead and put that back in. This is one of the reasons I really like my little 301. It gives me more room to work. Okay, let's see what we can do here. There we go. Now it's going in there. Okay. And to set your foot height, you see how loose this is? There we go. You see how loose my foot is? I'm going to leave it that loose. I'm just going to get it here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my foot down. And when I put my foot down, it's just going to kiss the top of that fabric. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten it. Don't over tighten it though. You don't need to. You don't need to you don't need to tighten it down real hard. Just a good finger tightening is good enough. I wouldn't be able to get my chubby fingers in here to do that, but you don't need to over tighten it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and do as I promised before. I'm going to take some of these marks off of here so you can see how nice it looks after it's stitched out. And there we go. Here we had those all marked up. But isn't that beautiful? That's just an awesome way to go ahead and to connect those motifs together. So let's take a look at the next one that we want to connect. And what I'm going to do, okay, Nancy says, let's see what she says. Nancy, Ellen's here from Delaware, having a hard time with the flannel. Nancy, flannel, as you know, is not my favorite fabric. Okay. But if you're having a hard time with it, it could be that your foot is riding too low on the fabric. We want to make sure when we have our foot down that it easily glides. You see this? Now, one thing, and this was a question from 2 weeks ago. What happens when we get along a great big um, seam with a lot of seam allowance in it? What I do, and I mean, this is huge right here. I've got so many seams coming together here. You can see just how thick that is right there. Quite honestly, I try to avoid it. I will try to work the design around that. If it is impossible to do, what I will do is I will go in and say I get to about this point, I will go in and then I will, oh, that light isn't helping too much. Then what I will do is I will loosen my foot, take and hand wheel over that large area with all of the seam allowance, get over to the other side of it, go ahead, tighten my foot back up and take off. So that is what I do when I have something that's really, really thick. Avoidance is probably the best way to do it if you can. Okay, Nancy Cook is here from Victoria. Okay, Nancy, I'll give you a call when we're done here, okay, darling? Jan says, if I don't tighten my foot tightly, it's constantly coming loose. Is my machine vibrating that much that it loosens it? Jan, it's very possible it is. My 301 is famous for that. My 301, I have to feel like I'm constantly tightening that foot down. Be diligent. Okay. It's not the worst thing to happen, but you want to stay on top of that. All righty. Let's take a look at coming out of here and going over to this motif. And let's take a look at our 4-inch arc to accomplish that. If we take our 4-inch arc, what's going to happen is you can see that it's got two radical radius here, or I think that's what it's called, to go ahead and get all the way over there. However, we may have some other things we can do with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this out, and I'm going to start where we ended. And now I'm going to come up here. Oops, there we go. And across here. And then I'm going to come back over here. You see what I did? I flipped my template around. Yeah, I'm just going to move it over. And you can bring it up here. Here's a way you could do that. Not crazy about it, but what I could do is come in here, get to about this point, and then just going to twist that template, and it's going to bring it right in here. And it's going to give us a nice, soft, round connection. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch that out. She says, there you go with that arc. She knows me. She knows me all too well. I love the 4-inch arc. Now, what you could do if you were a little more concerned about not being able to get it nice and smooth, is you could come in with the 6-inch arc. All right. And grab my spacing gauge. Let's go ahead and use the 6-inch because Nancy thinks I don't know what any arcs are unless it's a 4-inch. Oh, it is my favorite. I will say that. Now, for those of you who are new with us, it used to be my nemesis. I distinctly remember when I first started with template quilting, I hated that 4-inch arc. I avoided it like the plague. So, why is it now my favorite? Because what I did was I practiced with it. I drew it and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced until it got to be now my favorite template is that 4-inch arc. And when I'm doing designs, you'll see that 4-inch arc pretty often. Okay, so I'm coming up now. There we go. I had some little heavier seam allowances there, and you'll notice it didn't even hesitate. Came right over the top of them, and there we go. Nice and smooth. And now we are into the next rotation. Okay, now let's now that we're here, shall we come back out? let's come back out and come over here and come back in this way, okay? And we can do that, and we can easily, let's try it with our 12-inch arc and see how far we're gonna get. Eh, it's too flat. It's really kind of just too flat. Will it work to go from there to here? Yeah, it will, but I don't think it's gonna be nearly as pretty. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna grab this connector again because what I want to do is I want to take this connector that far and then I want to flip it over and come the rest of the way. Let's see what happens when we try that, okay? I'm not going to draw it out. We're just going to do it. I'm going to stop about where this line is, and that's halfway through that arc. And here we go. There's another place where I've got quite a bit of seam allowance in there, but it's not a problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with this and we're going to come in another way. This is going to give us a totally different look. And what it's going to do is it's going to give us kind of a little peak here, if you will, where it changes direction. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. It's all right. It doesn't all have to be flowing and smooth if you don't want it to be. You can go ahead and make it come around. So now let's put something coming over to here and let's do it with some kind of a flair to it, okay? Well, Priscilla, hello. How are you tonight? All right. I'm going to take a look at what's going to happen if I use my clamshell here. And I'm going to come out. If I don't want to take my foot off, I don't have to use my stitching line discs. And this is how I will use them. I will stay right there and then I'll go ahead and put that in. And this is how it's going to come out. And let's stop here. And what's going to happen if we come here and come around this way? It's not going to get us where we want to go necessarily, but look at that beautiful turn on here. Okay, my machine just yelled at me. Okay, and we're going to come this way. Now I want to come back over this way. So I'm going to flip it again. There we go. And we're going to keep flipping it back and forth. And over to here. Kind of cool, huh? Very cool. Let's try that. Let's stitch that out, okay? Okay, Priscilla says, trying to get ready for the deep freeze that's coming on Tuesday through Thursday. Oh, I think we all are, Priscilla. It's not going to be pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and let's stitch what we just drew out. And this is all going to be done with our clamshell. And our clamshell is nothing more than a 3-inch arc. Want to make sure you've got a good view. Okay, so I'm going to go this far and then I'm going to stop with my needle down. I'm going to turn my template around. And what this is going to do is you can see it makes a very soft curve. I'm going to stop here, turn it again. And there we go. Now, because this template is symmetrical, you don't need to put staple tape on both sides. Just one side will work. Okay, get my spacing gauge out, make sure that I measured up right, and there we go. And right into there. Now, that has given us a very pretty serpentine line, hasn't it? And we did it just with our clamshell. So we came here and just kept flipping that clamshell over and over again, and it worked. All right. One other thing that I definitely want to talk about. Do we always have to go from the inside to the inside? Can we go ahead and travel over the top, for example, here, and come down and into this one? Absolutely, we can. And will it look weird? Absolutely not. It'll be just as good as new when we're done with it. Oh, Priscilla said it's not supposed to be single digits in Oklahoma. I get you, Priscilla. At least you can feel good that you don't live up here because right now it's telling me that it feels like 19 below outside. It is 0 degrees with the wind chill factor to minus 19. I have a feeling we might have some schools canceled tomorrow. When it hits 20 below, they close them. Okay, let's see what we could do with this 4-inch arc. I'm going to come here, and if I come over here, I can actually bring this to the other side. And guys, look at, I really made a goof right here. I did. But you know what? It's okay. It's a practice piece. It's not. What I'm gonna do with these, I'm gonna put all these pieces back together. I'm gonna quilt as you go, but the pattern will be all broken up, and my dogs are gonna get it. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna come out here to draw it in. Come on, you can do this. That pen is not, I think it's getting dried out. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to come back over to here. By golly, that's going to work nicely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. There we go. And why am I doing this? I am doing this so that, here we go. I'm coming around this far because I want to miss this thick section of seam allowance. Okay, I will show you what I mean. All right, again, we only need staple tape on one side. So here we go. We're going to come right over the top of that petal, and that's okay. And now we're going to come down, and I want to stay off of this petal. So I'm going to hold that, use that spacing gauge, and we're going to hold it back. Now we're going to move it down just a little bit more, and it's going to come down nice and smooth. There we go. Now I'm going to move it down just a little bit more and it'll come in. Whoops, wrong side. There we go. It'll come in right about there. And what we were able to do with that, even though it's a little thicker, it's not too thick to get over. Whoops. So what we did was we avoided this section right here. So let's come back out. I'm going to get that out of the way. Now, this would be a good way to go ahead and end your connectors if you wanted to. Okay? Say you've got everything connected up. Perfect. Or you could go ahead and get one more back in here over to this area here. And what that's going to do is that's going to enclose this whole block. You're not going to have any piece left unfinished. All right. So what should we use to get over there? Wonder what we could do with our 2-inch simple circle. Let's go ahead and slip it on there. And let's live dangerously. Um, we're not even going to draw this out first. Let's see who's come in. Okay. Jan says, deep freeze the rest of the week for the Midwest, but possibly 40 degrees on Sunday. Oh my gosh, that's t-shirt weather. Pat says schools are already closed for tomorrow in Omaha, Nebraska. Wind chill of 20 to 25 below tonight and for several nights. Sounds like about here, Pat. Not good. Janice says we get a lot of sewing done in the North Country. Above zero is shopping day, below zero is sewing day. Oh, you are so right, Jan. And hi, Ronnie from Northeastern Arizona. And it's okay that you're late. You can watch anytime you want. That's all right. All right. So here we go. I'm going to do this. Okay, guys, this is an experiment. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to make a half circle here. We're going to stop at the half circle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it up. Ah, there we go. Half circle again until I hit that motif. And look at how easily it glides over those seams. Just take your time. Oh, I think this is my favorite one. Look at how cool that is. And that was just plain. I love to just play. Sometimes my best ideas come up with plain. So we came around, we came through our circle, we added 2 half circles to close our area here, and this is what we've got. Okay, so it's a little different. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines for us. Hopefully, don't step on any dogs sleeping. We've got a few of them taking a siesta under our legs here. And there we go. And this is what we came up with. You don't even have to. If you don't want to, you can leave a few open. You don't have to connect them all. It's just easy to connect them as you're going along so that you can finish your quilt as efficiently as possible without breaking thread. Personally, I'm gonna be honest with you, it doesn't bother me to break thread. It doesn't bother me to, bury knots either. The more you do it, the easier it gets and the quicker you get at doing it. I was watching today because hand quilting is something that's always intrigued me, and I would love to learn how to do it. I've just never been able to rock that needle correctly. And watching that gal starting her hand quilting, she actually started it with burying a knot, and I thought that was pretty cool. Also, another thing, someone brought to me my attention, and let's go ahead and just take a minute to look at this. Whoops, that one first. There we go. And that was using dental floss to bury it. Um, I don't know if I can replicate this or not, guys, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so there we are. Um, I'm gonna cut my thread. Okay, there's the beginning. I'm not gonna worry about the beginning. It was the end one that I want to worry about. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull that thread up. And well, we're gonna try and pull it up without cutting it, I hope. Okay, let's get that bottom thread pulled up. And I know I can do this. I've done it before. There it is. Okay, so now we get that thread and we make our knot, right? And where's my needle? Oh, goodness, don't tell me I lost another needle. Well, goodness. I do believe I've lost another self-threading needle. Oh, there it is. Heh, it almost was in my pincushion all the way. There we go. So we do that, right? Now we get the dental floss. Grab a piece of it. I got to be honest with you guys, I don't remember exactly how this works. Ah, well, do this. It does not want to go in this needle. Okay, there we go. I don't remember how this goes. Yeah, I'm going to have to look it up. I'll get back to you on this one with the dental floss anyway. Hey, at least it smells good. Oh, so here we go. Put it in the hole. I like to put it in the hole that the bobbin thread is coming out of, right here. In it goes. Pull it through. There's my knot. And now it's gone. And what's cool about this is you look at the top and look at the bottom. It's perfect on both sides. So it's a skill that I think is important to have as a quilter. Um, Once you start learning it, you'll surprise yourself at how quickly it becomes second nature and how quickly you can do it. I'll try and find the one on with using the dental floss. But that's how easy it is, and it doesn't take that very long, so it really doesn't. Okay, let's see where we're at. Um, Jan says, "Yep, -16, dropping steadily. Oh, up to the 50s next week. Yeah, we're not getting 50s. Um, yeah, actually, what I've got on here is a flannel shirt. We all wear 'em. I've got layers on. I've got a long sleeve t-shirt under the flannel shirt. And Joyce, we are just used to the cold weather. Susan, thank you so much. Yeah, good. I'm glad you want to try it on your own. You know, you guys get to see the good, the bad, the ugly. You really do. Um, I don't hide my mistakes from you. I hope you guys appreciate that I am not perfect. I make mistakes and you know, it is the way it is. And sometimes I come up with some really good stuff, and sometimes I get done and I turn the broadcast off and go, what was I thinking? But that's what makes it fun. It's live. It's, flaws and all. But, I look at these guys that we did tonight, and it really is fun. I just enjoy it. I love flying by the seat of my pants and doing things like that because that's sometimes where you come up with the best ideas. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate you being here. You guys really make my day. You really do. Tomorrow, we are going to be working with the Persian Peak Artisan Curves, and I cannot wait to show you what I've got for you guys tomorrow. I I am so pleased with it. Not very often I look at something I do and go, wow, that is really cool. But I am. I really am pleased with you with this one. And I can't wait to show it to you. I really can't. So, after you like, subscribe, and share, don't forget, go on, take a look at things. You've got this. This is going to be on 906 Quilting YouTube channel, 906 Quilting Facebook, So Steady YouTube channel, and So Steady Facebook page. And until we see you tomorrow, let's quilt.